Hi, welcome to the Sterling Heights Public Library. My name is Brent, and today we're going back to basics. Today we're going to be doing eggs. Follow me over to the stove, and we'll show you how to do it. Okay, so today we're working with a cast iron skillet, and right now I've got this thing set over a medium heat. You want to get this thing started to warm up a little bit before you get going with your eggs. You know, there's a lot of great things about these pans. They're durable, they'll last your lifetime and probably your kids. They're cheap. These things can be picked up very inexpensively. You know, some of the skillets you see these days, I mean, you can spend a lot of money on a skillet. You don't have to spend a lot on one of these things here. There are a couple things you got to know about taking care of them, though. For one thing, in order to keep these things non-stick, you got to do what they call seasoning them, and you're not going to be washing it hardly ever. Sometimes you'll need a little soap and water. Do not put this thing in the dishwasher. You don't want to compromise that seasoning on there. So what is seasoning? Basically, it's what turns this thing black. Basically, it's carbon. Where do you get carbon? Well, from cooking. And right now, okay, yep, that's starting to warm up nice. This stuff here comes in really handy. We're going to give it a light spray with a little bit of spray. And then go ahead and crack your eggs in there. You're going to see that when your pan is warm but not scorching hot, it's going to start to, the eggs are going to start to go white around the edges. Oop, drop a little shell in there. Got that, you don't want that. And then while these things are still just starting out, give them a little bit of sprinkle of salt, and maybe just a touch of pepper. You don't want to have this pan raging hot, or they'll have some problems here. So we're going to take this in here for a few moments, and you'll see that these are going to start to come along, and I'll show you how to test them and how to flip them. Okay, so these have been going for about a minute or two here, and you can see that they're starting to, the white's starting to gel up nice. Once they start to do this, you can give them a little bit of jiggle with the pan, and this is how you know a little bit about whether they're sticking at all or not. If they stick a little bit, you can often get those off of there by just giving it a few moments and give it a little jiggle, and often they'll just kind of wiggle off. You do have to be a little careful. If you get one that really sticks, you may need a spatula. Sometimes you mess one up. They're eggs. They're cheap. Okay, so now if you were going to take these things to sunny side, basically this is what you want right here. You take them just a little bit further so that this egg here sets up a little bit. This one looks really good. But if you want to flip them, say over easy, make sure that you got them loose a little bit. Get them right down in the end. Give them a little flip. Now, that takes practice. You're probably not going to get it right on your first try. A great way to practice that, take a cold skillet and put some dried beans in there and practice with those. You can use rice too, but if you make a mistake with rice, you got rice all over the place. The beans are easier to pick up. Okay, so you get that set in there for just a few more seconds, and you'll see that, again, they'll just kind of start to loosen right up. And then when you're ready to serve those, you just take your, you can also just check and see how the yolks are. These here are going to still be soft in the middle, but done all the way around. So, fried eggs, simple. Okay, so we talked about cleaning the pan. Now, when this thing is nice and warm like this, I'm going to just go ahead and turn the heat off for a second. We'll be using this pan again in a minute. Get yourself a paper towel, a nice clean dry paper towel. You do not want a damp one, you'll burn yourself. And just wipe the oil and any of the salt and pepper out of here. If you got just a little bit of egg or something in there, usually it'll just come right off when you do this. So that there is basically ready for our next step. So we did some basic fried eggs. I'm going to show you how to do an omelet too. We'll come back to that in just a second. Okay, so we're going to do a simple 2-egg omelet here as well. So first thing to do, go ahead and crack your eggs into container, a bowl, or I'm using a measuring cup, works really well. Doesn't matter if you break the yolks because you're going to break them anyway. Get yourself a fork, give them a nice stir. You want those yolks to be mixed with the whites pretty uniformly. Now, you will find that sometimes you see folks take a little bit of extra liquid and add that into the eggs. You can certainly do that. It's likely to make them a little bit fluffier and a little bit more tender. Depends on, I guess, if you like a fluffy omelet or you like one that's got a little bit more stability to it. Okay, if you are going to add a little bit of liquid to it, you know, a little bit of water, a little bit of milk, you know, something along those lines will work really well. Our fillings today, we've got a slice of cheese, we've got a little bit of chopped ham, we've got some red bell pepper, some mushroom, and a little green onion. We're going to use all these. Now, if you do want to use cooked vegetables in your filling, cook them first, then clean your pan out good. We're just going to add these raw. You don't want anything in that pan that's going to create anything for the egg to stick to. Okay, so we're back over here at the stove, and this pan never really fully cooled down before, but we don't want to, you know, have it super hot. So just nice and warm to start out with. Give it another spritz with some spray. Got my salt and pepper handy. And we're going to take those 2 beaten eggs and we're just going to pour them right in like so. And see, that'll start to set up almost immediately. Now, to get this all the way around there while it's still liquid, go ahead and give it a little tilt just to kind of get it all the way around. Go ahead and give yourself a little shot of salt and pepper. If you're adding any herbs, this is a good time to do it. Okay, so see how that's already starting to set up? One thing also you're going to want to watch with these cast iron pans, they usually have a relatively short handle and it heats up relatively quickly, so it's not a bad idea to have a little something to hold on to that with. Okay, so before this sets fully, I'm going to go ahead and start adding our fillings. You don't want to go hog wild crazy with these fillings. A lot of things that you fill take less filling than you might expect. Notice how I'm doing it all pretty much on one side here. It's because we're going to fold the other side over. The onions. Now I am going to put cheese on this side. Okay. See how that moves a little bit when I give it a jiggle? Still got a little bit of loose egg here, so now this is not a classic French omelet, but it's the way I learned how to make them. It works out pretty good. So to get this thing folded over, rubber spatula really helps. You get that up underneath there and just gently fold it over. And then go ahead and slide that right on out. There you go. 2-egg omelet full of all kinds of goodies. All right, eggs 2 ways. So great option for breakfast, simple lunch. You can use fried eggs for a lot of different things. If you're going to use these for a breakfast sandwich, probably the good idea is to make sure that that yolk is fully cooked. They actually they leak a lot less that way. So a little bit of butter, jam. Remember those biscuits we made? Pretty darn good. That's what I've got for you this week. Have a good one.